Already mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Already we're live. And firstly, let me go ahead and fix my webcam's configuration real quick. Oh god, it's too bright. Hold on, guys. Let me decrease that real quick. There we go. Okay, perfect. We're live, and as you guys can tell by title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working with more type hits and Pydantic. Last stream I did work with Pydantic, but I didn't go over most of the stuff because it was more a no-talk stream. Although this stream I will be going over it in detail and all that stuff. That said, let's go ahead and move on to my gameplay screen. And I'll also mute my gameplay music because I think it's kind of distracting as well. That said, let me say something like, there we go. Let's say something like Sensei in live exclamation. And yeah, this is a new chat because I try saving tokens these days, and today I want to change my effort to something like max. May use excessive tokens resulting in long responses times and may hit token limit using sparingly for harder tasks. Okay, I'll go with high. Because I want to check what max does as well. Yesterday I mostly worked with the medium settings here. That's it. I guess Vlad is thinking, let's go, you showed up, you logged in, you're here, and that already puts you ahead, blah blah blah. Part 2. Part 2 is where Pydantic gets its default values, constraints, custom validators. This is the stuff that runs inside LangChain agents, fast APIs, endpoints, crew AIs, workflows, the real infrastructures of agentic AIs. Every serious AI engineer knows this code. Okay, I guess we're going to work with this. And you're going to learn the only way that matters by writing it yourself from scratch. All the basic stuff. Concept first. Fields is function. I don't see a dot here, so I think it's field function. And constraints. In part 1, you define fields like this. Class, user, base model, string, age, yada yada. That works, but it's bare. No results. No rules, no limits. Someone passes age equals to -5 and Pydantic just shrugs and accepts it. That's dangerous in the AI systems. Alright, I'm so glad that we did work with something really crucial last stream because I wasn't as prepared. Which because I didn't learn as much last stream because I couldn't read the questions. That said, enter field. Field is a function from Pydantic that lets you attach rules directly to a field. From Pydantic, I want to go ahead and import base model and a field. Now, if I were to go ahead and create a class called item that has base model as its parameter, then I'm going to go ahead and add 2 variables in it. The first is going to be name, which is going to be a string. The second is going to be a quantity, that is going to be an integer, which is going to be equal to our field's function that is default, that is set to 1 by default. If quantity isn't provided, it automatically becomes 1. Oh, I see. No crash, no error. So it's basically a default value. Oh, that does make sense. Numeric constraints. So G, Li, GT, LT. Constraints and meanings. GE equals to 0, greater than or equal to 0. GT equals to 0, strictly greater than. Oh. GE is greater than or equal to, GT is greater than, LE is less than or equal to, LT is strictly less than. Okay. Oh, less than, equals, greater than equals. Okay, so GE, LE, GT, LT. Next up, class product base model. Okay, price equals to, we have a price variable that is going to be a floating point number, which by default is going to be set to GT equals to 0. So greater than 0 must be a positive number. And then we have a discount variable, which is floating point as well, that is equal to greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 1, between 0 and 1. String constraints, min underscore length, max underscore length. Class profile, so we have a profile class which requires base model as its parameter. And then we have a username variable which is of the string data type, where the field says min underscore length equals to 3 and max underscore length equals to 20. So the username needs to be between 3 characters to 20 characters. And then we have another variable called bio, which is also of the string data type, that is equal to our field default equals to a pair of double quotes. So we may have no bios, or the max length could be 150. So from 0 character, actually from 1 character, even a pair of single quotes is 1 character. So from 1 character all the way to 150 characters worth long bio. If the string is too short or too long, validation error. Automatic clean. What happens when constraints are violated? P equals to product, price equals to -5. Validation error. Price must be greater than 0. Pydantic catches it before that bad data ever touches your logic. That's the whole point. Question 1 of Pydantic Part 2. Task: you're building a user registration model for an API platform. Write a Pydantic model from scratch that enforces real constraints on every field and uses a default value for one of them. Your GPU arrived, bro. Actually, it's going to arrive on the 9th, and today is the 29th, so there's going to be 30th. Does this month have a 31st? Depending on that, on June 9th, it's going to arrive. That said, requirements, we're going to go ahead and import a base model, okay, and a field from Pydantic. Create a class called user profile with these fields. Username string, minimum 3 characters, maximum 20 characters. Age is going to be of the integer data type, must be at least 18. Okay, must be no more than 120. Okay, people do live about 120 years. Few people. That's it. Score is going to be of the floating point data type. Must be between 0.0 and 100.0. Inclusive both ends, so we include them ends. Default values of 50. Okay, so instantiate, as I pronounce it, 3 objects. 1 valid user, all fields good, no score provided, let the default kick in. One that triggers a validation error, for age being too low, one that triggers a validation error for username being too short. For the valid user, print the results of model.dump. For both invalid catches, the validation error and print the error. Expected output, yada yada. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and grab Claude in the other window just so I want to use or look at the question as a reference while I work on it. Claude has memory. And now Claude can make relevant connections across chat memories, includes entire. Hold on, guys. What in the world is this? Now Claude can make relevant connections across your chats. Memory includes your entire chat history. Use memory, I guess. Guys, Claude is innovating, I guess. Let's go with something like hi. I mean, Claude's already been innovated with L. That said, I'm gonna go ahead and grab up to my chat, and now let's read the question. There we go. Okay, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and open my Visual Studio Code as well. And then I'm gonna grab Claude back up here real quick, go to my previous chat, scroll all the way up here, go to my notes, copy my notes, go to my actual chat. Now, this is the code from last stream if you guys were not here. I did not work on it off stream, but I will be adding some more notes here. Wow, there are a lot. I have a real bad whatchamacallit, I'm getting an intrusive thought to read all these things for a quick little review. What are type hints? Type hints. Okay, I do not need type hints. Oh, I'm so glad we have type hints. Okay, I'm gonna scroll till we don't find Pydantic, because I wanted to do a quick little review, because last stream I hardly did anything. Part 1, base model. What is Pydantic? Pydantic is a Python library that uses your type hints to validate data at runtime. We use 2 asterisks to validate or unpack a dictionary as opposed to a list which uses 1 asterisk. It doesn't just label your data like type hints, it enforces it. Install pip blah blah blah. Defining a model, inherit from base model and define fields as type annotated class attributes. Pydantic automatically generates the constructor, no dunter init needed. From Pydantic, import base model. Class base model, name string, age integer, active boolean. Inst in instantiating a model, pass fields values as keyword arguments just like a regular constructor. Python use user name Sarah, age 26, user.name, blah blah blah. Valid and rejects bad data. Model.dump, converting to a dictionary, returns the models as data as a plain Python dictionary, used everywhere in LangChain, Fast API, LangGraph, and Creo AI. Double start unpacking, processing single model from a dictionary. Okay, we have data. Okay, so firstly we import Pydantic. We inherit from Pydantic. We create a few data members, and then we have a function called process data that requires data as a parameter, which is going to be of the dictionary data type, and I return a dictionary. What is name of lang? It's actually Python. I'm using Python. Model equal to product, double asterisk data, return model.model. By the way, our voice is too low. Hold on, guys. Let me check real quick. First, we import Huh. Honestly, did you try to increase your whatchamacallit? Let me try increasing from here a little. But if it's still kind of low, you guys can go ahead and increase you guys' volume up because I think my voice is pretty normal here. Although, besides voice, my webcam is getting kind of dark. Hold on, let me just kind of increase the configuration just a bit. There we go. Okay, perfect. Alright, now I think I got a refresher. You changed your camera angle also. Actually, I did not really change my camera angle. Rather, I added a foot massager there. That's probably going to help with the echoing. Okay, let's go there. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab Claude's instructions in the other window. I'm old subscriber, brother. Actually, I do remember you waited. It's been so long. How are you doing? That's it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let's say delete my old stuff here. And let's work on the new question. You're building a user registration model for an AI platform. Requirements, we got to go ahead and create a base model. So for having access to my base model, I'm going to go ahead and import something. So from Pydantic, I want to go ahead and import my base model. There we go. And then import base model and field. Oh yeah, we will be using field as well. That said, create a class called user profile with these fields. So I'm going to create a class called user profile, okay, which is going to be requiring my base model as a parameter since I will be using inheritance, and then I would not need a dunter inits constructor because it does come inbuilt with our base models as inheritance class here. That said, inside my base model, I'm going to go ahead and create with a few fields. So username is going to be of a string data type, which is going to be equal to, I'm going to go with something like fields. Now, already mic testing. Guys, my PC actually crashed. Okay, let me go ahead and grab everything up here and maybe just remove all my ads, exit voice mod, grab my Discord here, just fix everything up real quick, blah, blah, blah. Guys, it's so annoying whenever my PC crashes. I need to make sure that everything is spot on again. So we have that. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Claude's chat up there. I'm going to go ahead and read the question as a reference. There we go. Okay, so where was that? I was going to be creating a greater than or equal to this field, which is going to be of 3 characters. And then a maximum of 20 characters. Wait, how do you add a maximum of 20 characters? Oh, you just add a comma, that's it? Okay, so we're going to go with something like greater than or equal to 20, less than or equal to 20. So now my character of my username is going to have a minimum of 3 characters and a maximum of 20 characters. Okay. And then later on, I'm going to create another data type, which is going to be age. Age is going to be of an integer data type. That is going to be having a field constraint as well, where my age must be at least 18. So greater than or equal to 18. However, I need to be no more than 120, so less than or equal to 120. By the way, what are you doing? Actually, I am working with Pydantic in Python. I was actually working on type ending as well, which was like 2 streams ago. But I did start Pydantic next stream, and after Pydantic, I sort of forgot what comes next. Hold on, guys. Let me just go ahead and grab my roadmap real quick. Isn't this something that I need to know memorize what comes next? Pretty sure not. I can't wait to start the new stuff after moving on from advanced Python. Let me scroll all the way up the hell. There we go. Okay, so next up is going to be the final topic once I'm done with Pydantic, which is going to be virtual environments and dependency management. After that, we're going to be working a little with development tools, data structures and algorithms, all those basic stuff. That's it. We create an age variable as well. Now let's create a scores as data type, which is going to be float. That is going to be equal to, okay, that must be having a field. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a field between 0 and 100. So it needs to be either greater than or equal to, let's say 0.0, and less than or equal to 100.0. Okay, inclusive default value ends with 50. Default value is going to be 50. Okay, let's go ahead and add a default, which is going to be 50.0. There we go. Okay, now instantiate, as I pronounced it, instantiate 3 objects. One valid user, all feels good, and no score provided. Let the defaults kick in. Instantiate. Alright, here's one thing. For the valid user, print the result of model.dump. Okay, I did not understand the instance. How do you pronounce it firstly? Hold on, guys. Let me firstly grab plot up here. Whoops. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna paste it and I'm gonna say I did not understand the stance. How do you even spell this stuff? Hold on. There we go. Wait, it just says wrap each Okay, so guys, this is a way that I learned how to pronounce stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and just copy this word real quick. And then I'm gonna go there. Let's go to something like English to Japanese. There we go. This is exactly how I see the pronunciations.
Instantiate.
Instantiate. Oh, wait, could you guys hear it?
Instantiate.
Kind of curious. How does it sound in Japanese?
インスタンス化する。
Instance 化する. Okay.
Instantiate.
Instantiate. Okay, and then let's just go up here. Not understand the instantiate part. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let's say grab my reference in the other window. Hold up, good start. I can see you understood field and you got age and score by it, but okay, that's real, but 2 things we need to fix before you go further. But 1, wrong constraints on username. GE and LE are number constraints. You use them on a string. So GE3. Min length, max length. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, to have new instance. Oh, I see. Okay, concept. What is instantiate? Instantiate just means creating an object from a class. When you write a class, let me just go ahead and exit that, go there. There we go. When you write a class, it's a blueprint. Instantiate is when you actually build something from that blueprint. This is the blueprint class, user profile, a base model. Username is going to be string, field min length, max length. User equals to user profile. Username is Alex99. Age is 25. Okay, this is instantiation. Oh god, guys, I can't even pronounce it. Creating a real object from it. That variable user is now a live object you can call model.dump. Okay. Let's see, try bad user. One valid user, no score. Okay. Can you explain me the model dot the dot model underscore dump is a method as well? I mean, I did work a little on this last stream, but not too much to understand the part. Okay. Hey bro, what are you yapping about, man? Actually, I am working with Pydantic this stream. I was done with type hinting about 2 streams ago. Stop it, man. Let's talk about GTA 6. Guys, talk about GTA 6 is kind of crazy. Hasn't it been like 20 years since GTA 5 was out? Yo, hi, Rich. Appreciate you joining the stream. Hey, you already learned this in part 1. It's in your notes, but I'll give you a quick refresher. Then you go read the code. Model.dump, quick refresher. Okay, when you instantiate a Pydantic model, you get a Pydantic object, not a plain Python model. Model.dump converts that object into a regular Python dictionary. User equals to user profile, user equals to Alex99, age equals to 25. Print user. Okay, user is going to be that Pydantic object is going to be 50. Print user.model.dump plain dictionary. Oh, I see. Okay, why does it matter? LangChain Fast API, they all pass data around dictionaries. So model.dump is how you validate your dictionary. Okay. I was asking a bit about the syntaxes as opposed to what it does. Oh god. I was asking about the syntaxes as opposed to what it does. Yeah, I didn't have much time to work on syntax in last stream. Where you live, like in UK? Maybe not. Let's see. You got everything, class constraints, instantiation. Fair enough. So user model.dump. So we model.dump our dictionary. Just call it no arguments needed. Okay, include only get specified. Okay, well, I think I see. Now, let's work on the instantiation part. God, that is so hard to pronounce. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let's say instantiate my user profile. Okay, which is going to be having my base model as a parameter. And then, where I have a username, I have this, that. Okay, let's go with user equals to user profile. Now I'm going to go ahead and print my user one dot, let's say, I want to make it a dictionary. Okay, I'm your old subscriber, but I don't know your name exactly. Bro, it's literally Vivek. That actually does make sense, guys. So that's instantiate 3 objects, one that triggers a validation error, being too low, one that triggers a validation error for username being too short. So am I not supposed to return anything? It does say you need to return a dictionary, so I think I may go with something like, I don't know. Hey bro, what exactly are you doing? Explain me. I'm trying to understand the concept of Pydantic, but I think I'm a little bit confused on the syntaxes. I think I need more practice. Let me say, can you maybe help me out with this question? And then I could work on a similar question after I reference the code. Let's see. No man, I'm new on the stream, I see. Let's see. I guess Claude is thinking. And guys, I want to try my max effort as well for some reason. No, I'm not writing it for you guys. This is why I love Claude. That is not how this works. And you know what? If I write to you, you learn nothing. The YouTube serious? That's right, sure, guys. That's actually kind of crazy. You're still using LE on username? Okay, I was about to fix that stuff. Your instantiation syntax is completely wrong. Exactly, it's a syntactual error. Okay, what you wrote, this is the class inheritance syntax. Instantiation means passing actual values. Okay, I'll pay you $1,000 just to stop your freaking stream. Guys, I think that's way too low for stopping the stream out. Okay, why are you awake till now? Actually, it's 1:30 p.m. for me. Okay, let's see. User equals to user profile, username, Alex, age 25. Here's the skeleton. There we go. I needed something like this. So username equals to this, and then we have those stuff. Validation, username, age. Okay, we have a default score. That is nice. Age too low, age too high. Set validation error. Username print a model.dump. User1 model.dump. User2 validation error. User3 validation error. Okay, so firstly, we're gonna go with the min underscore length. That is gonna be 3. And then we're gonna go with the max underscore length, which is gonna be 20. There we go. And heard instances for the first time. Guys, I know what instances is. I didn't know what does instantiate mean. Okay, friend, which state you're from? I actually can't really say that. Guys, no amount of money is enough for stopping the stream out. The stream shall go on. That's let's see. Validation error, yada yada. Okay, so firstly, rather than base model, I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my parameters. For example, let's go with username is gonna be Alex, and then Alex is let's say 24 years old. And then I may add a score, I may not add a score, because the default value is 50 for my score. Okay, and then we're gonna go with something like print. I'm gonna print my user dot model underscore dump. There we go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and try my second user. Let's go with user2, which is going to be equal to my user profile. Okay, that is going to be having a username parameter, which is going to be something like Hannah. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a age, which is going to be, now here's the thing. If I am under 18, which I'll go with something like 17, I should run into an error. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and accept. Hold on, guys, there we go. I'm going to accept a, what error was it? I forgot the name. Okay, you have a girlfriend. Actually, guys, no, I've never dated in my whole life. So let's go up here to validation error. VALIDATION. Okay, I want to meet your dad. He used to be blamed. Guys, what is going on with the chat? What the hell? Let's see. Is my syntax accept validation error as E? I want to go ahead and let's say copy this part as E. And then I'm going to print you run into an error. An F string, you ran into, there we go, let's say something like E error. Okay, perfect. And then we're gonna go ahead and try a second, let's say our third user, let's go with user 3, is gonna be equal to validation error as E. And then I'm gonna go ahead and copy this just to save some time. And we're gonna go ahead and paste it here. Now, if I were to go ahead and run the code, let's Control S, Control Alt N. We say user syntax error. What the hell? Oh, I added an extra space. My bad. What? Oh my gosh! Hold on a damn minute, guys. User 3 equals to user profile. What was I thinking? Okay, let's go with username equals to, I don't know, maybe Charlie. And then Charlie's age is 121. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and accept validation. Oh god, accept validation error as E. Just to save some time, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this, paste that there, remove the extra line and delete that. I'm gonna hit Control S, Control Alt N. Name editor, validation is not defined. Okay. Guess I'm gonna go with Control A, Control C. Hey, work on Pydantic. I say I remember using it back when I worked with Fast API. I will actually start working with those APIs as well. That said, for the time being, I do know one. I remember one name called something like LangChain and like Crew AI. I should give them a try as well. I will be working with them. I think it's gonna be the next or actually after two more topics, because my next topic will be development tools. Done. Where I'm going to be working a little with GitHub and all those things, and then later on I'm going to work with. I forgot. Let me check. Guys, should I not remember my topics at the top of my head? I think that's why we have a roadmap here. There we go. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be working with Fast API as well, right? Oh wow, it's later on. Oh, they come way later on, right? Or maybe not. I think there we go. So we have LangGraph, Crew AI, and Autogen. Oh, I don't work with Fast API. Never mind, guys. Are you building backend of some website? Like, what are you doing with JSON parsing? Was that question for me? Okay, brother, what is this? I never had a girlfriend. I mean, I didn't either, so it's fine. That's it, so close, almost had it. You've got the model perfect, instantiation is clean, try/except structure is right. I'm genuinely proud, blah, 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 blah. Oh, validation error is its own library. Okay, bug 2, wrong third test case. Username too short, less than 3 characters. Okay, wait, did I just go with 25? Username Al. It should be username too short. User profile. Wait, the user. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add a validation error as well. Okay, I did not know that we needed to include validation error. And I'm gonna go ahead and change this to something like Al. The username is too short. I'm gonna set the age back to something like 25. Now I'm gonna hit Control S to save the code, Control Alt N. Username Alex, age 24, score 50 in a dictionary. You ran into one validation error for username. Input should be greater than or equal to 18. For further information, visit yada yada. You ran into validation error. String should have at least 3 numbers. Guys, I think I got it. By the way, when you get a GPU, you should definitely locally run a AI model like Gemini 4. It's not much to learn yet, but it's very fun. Actually, I might try it. I'm going to be getting, my graphics card will be arriving on the 9th, which is the June 9th. Today is, what month is going on? I think it's May 29th. There we go. Okay, and then let me just go ahead and say something like done. Guys, I think I got a grasp of Pydantic. I just need more practice. Those in CSE always remain single. Guys, I don't know much about that. Might be coping right now. I guess Claude is thinking. Let's wait for Claude to think a little. That's it. That's the one. You passed the question after a lot. 36-minute on stream and I'm done with question 1. Oh god. This is going slow. Question 2 is coming. This one steps up the difficulty slightly, still few constraints, but now you work with multiple models and real-world logic. Yes. Ready. Okay, and then let's send it. I wonder, do you guys think I should go with the effort of Max? Because let's be honest, I will not be... Let's go with Max. What's the worst that happens if we're with Max? We run out of our chat limit soon? The question is, how soon? And also, I realized one thing. Why do I have it only that subscribers can talk? I gotta fix that stuff. Okay, the cost of making code your girlfriend, you can't get a real one. I guess we're gonna program one then. I was joking, guys. Or was I? Let's go. Question 2. No new concepts needed. You already have everything for this one. This one is about cementing what you know with a different real world scenario. A small reminder for your concept table earlier, GT, strictly greater than 0. Itself or rejected. GE greater than or equal to 0, 0 or accepted. Okay. Question 2 task. You're building a product listing model for an AI-powered e-commerce platform. Write it from scratch with proper constraints and two default values. Requirements: import base model field and validation error. Create a class called product listing with these fields: name of the string data type, price of the float data type, stock of the integer data type, and rating of the float data type. Instantiate three objects, one valid product, provide only name and price, let both defaults kick in, print model.dump. One that triggers a validation error for price being exactly 0.0. One that triggers a validation error for rating being too high. Expected output, yada yada, hence yada yada. Write it all. Okay, Claude burns out too quickly. You have Opus AI model. I think he's using free tier. I am actually using free. Claude burns too quickly. Should I decrease the effort then? I want to try Max though. Do you have Opus AI? I am not really using Opus because I'm using the free one. I wonder what Haku does. Should I go with Haku 4.5? But I think Sonnet 4.6 is better. Just out of big curiosity. Hold on, guys. I've checked this before as well. Okay. What is it yearly? What the hell? Is yearly just 17 bucks? How is a monthly 20 bucks and yearly 17? What the hell? Max. Yeah, backend is in Golang, I see. I'll think about that. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna grab my instruction in the other window because I want to use it as a reference. There we go. Okay, fast food, guys. I never eat fast food. Okay, let's go with requirements. So firstly, from Pydantic, Pydantic, I want to go ahead and import my base model. I want to go ahead and import fields. And I want to go ahead and import a validation header, field. And then we're going to go ahead and create a class called product listing, which is going to go ahead and inherit from my base model. And then we're going to go ahead and create a few fields where I'm going to create a name field of the string data type that has a cap of minimum 2 characters to maximum of 50 characters. Whose name is ranging from 50 characters? Alright, sir. LinkedIn, Dido, Connect. Guys, I can't really read. Okay. I can't really read Hindi. Spending $17 on AI is just for learning is dumb, I guess. That does make sense. But if it's $17 yearly for me to be able to use like Opus and all those models, that may be worth it, to be honest. But I'm going to go ahead and create a field here. There, I'm going to go ahead and have a minimum length of, let's say, 2 characters. We're going to be having a max underscore length of 50 characters. And then I'm going to be having a price field as well, which is going to be of the float data type, which is going to be limited by a field. My price must be strictly greater than 0. So greater than 0. A price of exactly 0.0. There. And then I'm going to be having a third field called stock. Stock will be of the integer. Stock is going to be of an integer data type. Okay, which is going to be having a minimum of 0. Excuse me, guys, a maximum of 999. Okay, so we're going to go with something like greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 999. Okay. It's probably $17 a month, but you have to pay for an entire year and can't. Oh, I see. Oh God, guys, that does not seem good. Rating. Okay, we're gonna finally be having a ratings is field here of a float data type, which is going to be limited by a field or constrained by a field. Vary the minimum rating. So I'm gonna go with something like greater than or equal to 1.0. The rating can be minimum of 1.0 and a maximum of 5.0, less than or equal to 5.0. All right, perfect. Now we got instantiate. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say create an instance of my product listing. I'm going to go with something like product one. That is going to be equal to my product listing. That is going to be requiring a name, this parameter, which is going to be, I don't know, maybe I'm going to go with Alice. And then we're going to be having a prices data member or parameter, which is going to be, let's see, a minimum of 0. So I'm going to go with, let's say, 20 bucks, 20.2099, 19.99. Sounds much better. And then I'm going to go ahead and require a stock parameter as well, which is going to be equal to, wait, this is supposed to be a floating point. My bad. Stock is going to be, let's say, of 432 items. And lastly, I'm going to go ahead and have a rating of 4.9. Pretty good experience overall. And then we're going to go ahead and print our product one dot model underscore dumps method. Now let's try a few validation errors. Usually I don't even use AI to code, so I don't even log into ChatGPT. Lol. Don't you? Okay, do use it sometimes for errors. I think they're really great when it comes for learning. Okay, he's quite ahead as compared with me. Mastered C++ and Python. Guys, I don't know much about Master, but I do know that I do know those languages. Validate one product. Only name and price. Let both defaults kick in. Oh, okay. Name and price. We let the defaults kick in. Okay, I'm gonna add a default of 0. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and create a default for rating as well. There we go. Oh God. Okay, default is gonna be set to 3.0. Pretty decent rating. And then we're gonna go ahead and print model. One that triggers a validation error. So we're gonna go ahead and try something. I'm gonna try creating a product 2, which is gonna be equal to my product listing. Okay, which is gonna be having a price being exactly 0. So my name is going to be equal to Charlie. And my price is going to be equal to 0.0. Price being exactly 0, greater than or equal to 0. Greater than 0, okay. And I'm going to go ahead and accept a validation error as ERR. I'm going to go ahead and print ERR. Next up, let's go ahead and try for a third one. I'm going to create a product 3 that is going to be equal to my product listing that requires a name. One that triggers validation being too high. So we're going to go with name. That is going to be Charlie. I did create Charlie, right? Let's go with Joe. And then we're going to be having a price that is going to be equal to $12.99. And then we're going to be having a rating of, let's say, 6.3. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and accept validation error as ERR and print my ERR. Now let's hit Control S, Control Alt, and let's see what happens. For the first one, we get name Alice, price $19.99, stock 0, rating 3.0. For number 1, validation error in product listing, input should be greater than 0, input should be less than or equal to 5. Perfect. So with Control A, Control C, Yes, he streams manage social accounts, master Python, C++, and daily live streaming. I skip coding for days just because illness and college exams, guys. I think college exams are one of the worst things when it comes to being consistent with this stuff. Okay, I mean, he has done 365 days challenge, and not everyone can do that. I mean, I think it's like 21 days of working builds a habit there. So let me see something like done. Then let's send it. Can you give it on LinkedIn? Okay, I want to try high. Let's see how fast can we reach any limits here. Let's see how fast can we cap. Okay, this guy Unreal is an exceptional. Don't compare it to him. Guys, that does make Unreal Engine was kind of fun. Okay, boom, clean pass, zero logic, one tiny thing, one break your code but fix the habit. Typo, won't cause a crash but looks sloppy. Okay, okay, typo is something. Progress check, fields, default strings plus number constraints, reinforced constraints, GT versus GE, multiple defaults. 2 questions down, difficulty goes up. Alright guys, now we're going to be using a decorator, I'm assuming. Next up, add field underscore validator, custom validation logic. You're about to write validation that Pydantic can handle with simple constraints alone. Guys, I think we're going with a new topic here. Okay, let's see. And I wonder, I'm so curious to see, should I just keep going until I don't reach my max cap here? Wait, I'm in high. I wanted to go in max. New concept, add field validators. So field constraints are powerful, but they can only handle simple rules, greater than, less than, limits, length limits, that's it. What if you need logic like username cannot contain spaces, email must contain, and symbol of @ password must have at least one number. None of that is possible with fields alone. That's where @field underscore validation comes in. What is it? @field validator is a decorator that lets you write custom Python logic to validate a specific field. Any logic you can write in Python, you can use as a validator. So from Pydantic, I'm going to go ahead and import base model and field validator. Yo, Hiding Pixel, appreciate you joining the stream. It has been a while actually. Can you showcase Java Web framework? Okay, the syntax is class user profile base model. We create a field called name of a string data type, and then we use a decorator. I'm pretty sure this is a decorator called field validator of username. I want to validate my username, and then we use another decorator of class method, define validate underscore username, that requires 2 parameters. CLS, I'm assuming that's class, and value, which is a value. If an empty space in value, raise value error, username must not contain spaces, and we return value. Break it down piece by piece, part what it does. @field validator, username tells Pydantic, run this one on the username field. @class method, always required directly before Pydantic version 2 needs it. CLS, the class itself, always first parameter, always name CLS. Value, the actual data passed in for that field. Raise a value error, rejects the value, triggers a validation error. Okay, returns fields, accepts the value, you must always run it. The golden rule, forget to return. Pydantic sets the fields to none silently. Missing return, silent bug, very dangerous. Return value, do this, okay. You can also transform the values. Validators don't just reject, they can also clean the data before storing. Field validators, username, class methods, define clean underscore username, CLS value, return value.strip.lowercase. Ooh, you can also clean data. Trim spaces, force lowercase. The clean value gets stored, the original is gone. Super useful in real AI pipelines. 2 validators on one model, class user profile, base model. Username string email of the string data type. There we go. Okay, so we create. Okay, I have a question. Is this like a decorator, like field underscore validator? Because I have used decorators, but I've never added a parameter to a decorator. And then we have class method. Here's the thing. Back when I was working with Pygames, I did learn a little about this class method stuff here. That said, we go with define validate username, if space in value, raise value error, no space allowed. Validator email, if at not in value, raise value error must contain that. Each validator handles its own field. Okay, full picture field plus validator, username field, min length of 3, max length of 20. Email, string, custom handles, okay. Now we go with add field validator username, add class method, define no spaces, CLS value, if space, okay. Alright, okay, I had a question, but let's give it a try before my question. One that triggers validation error for API keys not starting with SK. Okay, let me go ahead and refresh this in the other window. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and delete the old code. I'm trying to keep up with so many things. I'm trying to see if I can grab the instructions here. There we go. Okay, so question 3, I might read it on stream first and then I'll read it off stream just so you guys can see the question. Okay, so question 3, task. You're building an AI agent registration system. Each agent needs a validated identity. Write a model from scratch that combines the field function, constraints, and at field validator custom logic. I need to ask if that's a decorator. Requirements. We import base model, of course, for the inheritance. We include field for the constraints, and we include field validators for custom validation and validation error as well. Okay, and then create a class called agent profile. Okay. With these fields, we have an agent name of the string data type, minimum of 3 characters, maximum of 30 characters. Task limit, integer data type, API key, string. Write a field validator for agent name that rejects the value if it contains any spaces. Raises value error. Agent name must not contain spaces. Return the value lowercase if it passes. Write a field validation for API that rejects the value if it does not start with SK and a hyphen. Raises value error. API key must start with SK hyphen. Return the value if it passes. Instantiate 3 objects. 1 valid agent, no task limit needed. Let default kick in. Print model underscore dump. Okay. One thing that triggers validation error for agent name contains spaces. One thing that triggers validation error for API keys, not starting with SK. Catch it all and print it. Okay. Okay, why are you programming in odd time? Like it's midnight. Actually, guys, it's not midnight for me. I woke up like, let's say 2 or 3 hours ago. Okay, I think it's around 10 p.m. for where he lives. No, it's actually 2 p.m. for where I live. That said, let's go with something like from Pydantic. I want to go ahead and import, let's say, my base model. Okay, and I want to go ahead and import, let's say, something like validation error. What else? I forgot what else. Field validation. Let's go with field underscore validator. And lastly, we're going to import fields. There. Okay, and then let's see. Next up, we're going to go ahead and create a class. Let's go ahead and create a class called agent underscore profile. 2 p.m. What the hell? Maybe I guess it's 10 p.m. for me, guys. Okay. Let's see. Damn, must be nice. It's 0:30. Is that military time? Let's see. So create a class with these 3 fields. So I'm going to create a class that inherits from my base model. which lets me avoid using Dunder inits constructor because it does come inbuilt inside our base model. Then I'm going to go ahead and create something like an agent underscore name of a string data type, which is going to be constrained by a field. There's no point in running any models locally unless you have a beast of system. What do you mean by beast? Would my specs work? One GPU isn't going to do a lot. It does make sense. If you guys do type exclamation specs, that's my current specs. I will be adding a GPU. I think it's going to be something like 3060 with 12 GBs of RAM. It's, I think, a RTX GPU. Would that be enough? Okay, let's go here. Because depending on my skill level, I might train a model or I could use LLMs for making an agentic AI. That really depends. I'll decide that later on. Okay, let's go with task limit, which is going to be of an integer data type that is going to be equal to a field. Now, I forgot to add constraints for my agent name. A minimum of 3 characters. So I'm going to go with min length. That is going to be 3 characters. Max length. That is going to be 30 characters. Okay, whose name is 30 characters long? And then, okay, it could be like a full name. That makes sense. Like first name, middle name, last name. Okay, let's go with something like fields. Minimum of 1. It needs to be greater than or equal to 1. And then we're going to go with something like a maximum of 50. Less than or equal to 50. And then we're going to go ahead and add a default as well. My default is going to be of 10. And my third parameter is going to be an API key, which is going to go ahead and have which is going to be of a string data type. Training model is feasible. Google Colab and Kaggle give processing. I see. Okay. Oh, he's in Canada or something? I see. I mean, he has 32 GB RAM and upcoming 360. He can at least run mid-levels. Ah, I see. Okay, so the timings. I think Google Germa 4 would run okay. I see. Let's see. It must be either North America or South. I think Canada is kind of cool. Yo, which country are you in anyways? Actually, I like to see you guys guessing the country, so I like never say it. That's a no length constraints needed for the API key. No length constraints. Maybe we're gonna manually validate it. That's it. Now we're gonna go ahead and write a field validator for our agent name. So let's go with at field validator, and then we're gonna go with something like at class method. There we go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add a field validator for my agent name. There we go. Now inside my agent name, we're gonna go ahead and reject the value if contains any spaces, raises value error. So I'm gonna go with something like if space in, I forgot the syntaxes. Define no spaces. We define a function called no spaces that requires CLS and our value as a parameter. Oh god, and that was tricky. Hold on, guys. We go ahead and define no spaces. Okay, so one task at a time. I see. When is graphics card delivery in mailbox? Okay, so that we can finally have a gaming stream. Also, double A multimedia streams. That does make sense. I'm going to be getting my graphics card on June 9th, and today is like May 29th. So in a few days. Oh yeah, it says games won't crash while streaming when he gets that GPU. That might even fix my stream crashes because I've heard that when you actually get a GPU, you're no longer connecting your displays to your motherboard, rather you're going to be connecting it to your GPU. So that's going to be really nice. That's it. No spaces is going to be having CLS as a parameter and value as a parameter. And then I'm going to check if space in, let's say, my value, then I want to go ahead and raise a value error, which is going to go ahead and say something. I can just say you ran into, okay, I guess we got the error name. I'm going to go with something like agent name must not contain spaces. And then I'm gonna go ahead and return my value. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and create another field underscore validator, which is going to be in charge of validating my. Okay, so we validate our agent name. Did I validate my agent name? Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and validate our API key. So I'm going to validate my API key. Okay, which is going to be having a declarator of my class method. Now I'm going to go ahead and define a function called. Wow, we don't get our function name. I guess it's fine. We have no spaces. Okay, rejects value if it does not start with escape. Does not start with SK. Guys, that is a huge stuff there, which requires CLS and value as its parameter. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add a if statement and check. So if my API key does not start with SK, then I'm going to do something. If SK with a hyphen, not in my value at index of 0, then I'm going to go ahead and raise a value error that says something like API key must start with SK. API key must start with SK with a hyphen. Okay, and then returns the value that it passed. So I'm going to go ahead and return my value. There we go. Okay, perfect. It's going to be a lowercase value. Oh yeah, it's agent name MUT. You made a spelling error. Oh, guys, how do you guys focus on those things? I need to like work on my concentration. UTC plus 3 p.m. or 3. Oh, I see. Okay, that should not start with SK. Check is incorrect. API key must start with SK. The not start with SK check is incorrect. Oh, if SK not in value. Is it? Okay, I guess I'll see it after I run it real quick. So now we gotta instantiate. So I'm gonna go ahead and instantiate agent1, which is going to be equal to my agent profile, which is going to be having a parameter of, let's say, no task limit needed. Let defaults kick in. Oh god, I didn't have a single default. My bad, guys. Okay, task limit is going to be of 10. I did have a default. Name is going to be Alice. No class default needed. And then we're going to instantiate another one. Okay, let's go ahead and print my agent1 dot the model underscore dump method. This is going to convert my Pydantic object to a dictionary object. And then I'm going to go ahead and try to create an agent2, which is going to be equal to my agent profile that requires agent name containing spaces. Let's say something like Charlie. Charlie. Okay, in the statement for SK, you're checking if the first letter of the API is SK, which can never be true because the first letter will always be one letter. I gotta check my first index. Oh, wait, can API keys be massive? Oh, wait. I think I need to iterate, right? I think I need to iterate. Okay, so maybe let's go with something like for every char in value, if my, let's say, SK not in char at index of 0, then we raise a value error. Right? That seems wrong. Okay, I guess it's fine. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and accept a validation error as ERR and print my ERR. Okay, the one that triggers validation error for API keys, starting with that. for agent name, the one that triggers API keys. So we're gonna go ahead and try an agent 3, which is going to be equal to my agent profile that requires, let's say, Hannah. And then I'm going to be requiring an API key. Does not start with SK. B12. How do you write an API, guys? I've never seen an API in my life. Okay, CPI2. And then I'm going to go ahead and accept a validation error as ERR. And then I'm going to go ahead and print ERR. But there is something like dot prefix. Oh, dot prefix. Not sure though, long time. Also, it can crash if API key is empty because it'll try to look at the first letter, but if it does not exist, I think there is a dot prefix function. I might check that. Okay, in the if statement, check the first letter of the API key. Okay, let me run this and see what happens. Indentation error. Line 2. Did I not indent? Hold on, I want to see what error I got again. What the hell? Type error, base model under init takes one positional argument, but two were given. I gave one positional argument. Alice, Charlie. API key looks like, oh wow, a random hexadecimal value. Okay, I guess let's just go with something like this. Let's just go and suppose that a cat stepped on my keyboard. Usually, that is, I see. Maybe no comma. There. Okay, now we got a different one. We got the same thing. Agent profile Alex base modeled under, and it takes one positional argument, but two were given. I literally gave one. Okay, line 26. Agent equals to agent profile that requires one parameter. The other two parameters are their defaults. No. We have an API key. I see. Oh. My bad. Let's go with SK API under API. Let's go with API underscore key equals to SK, a bunch of gibberish. And then we're gonna go here and type API underscore key equals to SK, and then I'm gonna go with a bunch of gibberish. Oh, I see. This is gonna be name, agent name. That is gonna be API key. What in the world was I doing? Hold on a damn minute, guys. And then this is gonna be API key. Am I distracted or something? I'm pretty sure I'm not distracted, but what in the world was that? Let's go with something like agent name. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and hit Control S, Control Alt N. Now we get our actual error. So we get further information, yada yada. Okay. I wonder what is the thing. Okay, if at not in value. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. And then I'm gonna get this back here, and then I'm gonna get that back here. If sk not in value, let's try this. Then we're about to do that. First one done. Then validation error, agent profile must start with an sk. So if I do it this way, that works. But I'm gonna ask another question. Let me go ahead and grab Claude here, paste it, and say it works. However, I have a few concerns. Very, let's go ahead and name them all. Firstly, let's go with something like, firstly, how to check if the first character or the first three characters in my API underscore key is sk hyphen. I added a general check. The next concern was that what does at what was the name of it? Fields underscore validator field validator do question mark. The at made it seem like it was a decorator. And also, what does the at class method do question mark? Again, I thought of it as a decorator and also have used it once or twice, but not a whole lot. And then let's go ahead and send it. There we go. I guess we're thinking. Oh wow, I just realized I think this may be my first message using Max. Great attempts, but not a full pass yet. Code runs yes, but two bugs are hiding in there, and I'll answer your questions and point them out. Pay attention. Bug 1, you forgot to lowercase the agent name. Okay, well, I could do that. AlphaBot stores as AlphaBot right now. It stores as AlphaBot. Silent bug, no crash. Wrong data going into your system. Bug 2, your API underscore key check is too loose. What you wrote, check if sk exists anywhere is the string. If sk, not in value. I forgot about these starts with function. No, I mean method. Okay, that is my bad. I did learn about string methods back in my Python for 108 series, but I sort of forgot about them. This would pass, okay, and then this is yada yada. This is exactly what you asked about. Dot starts with check. Checks the beginning only. In checks anywhere. If not value dot starts with, okay, so the value does not start with sk. Now your question's good ones. Yes, add field validator is a decorator. You're exactly right. Your instinct was correct. It's a decorator, which means it wraps the function below it and adds behavior to it. My decorator. But, doesn't the class method decorator override the field validator decorator? Field validator only works the same way. It wraps your validation function and registers it with Pydantic. It's telling Pydantic, hey, whenever someone passes a value into agent underscore name, run this function on it first before storing it. Without the decorator, your no spaces function is just a regular method. Pydantic has no idea it exists. The decorator is what connects it to the field. Without decorator, no space, yada yada. With this, knows the agent name. Class method is also a decorator. Yes, a decorator. Here's what it does. Normally, a method inside a class receives the instances as the argument. Mic testing, mic testing. Hold on, guys. My PC crashed again. What a surprise. This is the second time in this stream that it crashed. It's so annoying. There we go. Let's go ahead and grab all that stuff here. Get that there. Get that there. Make sure my OBS is streaming. It is streaming. And I'm going to go ahead and fix my webcam's configuration because it's messed up again. I'm going to go to configure video. Increase my gain a little bit. Wow, that was a lot of gain. I'm going to decrease over my white light balance. Oh god. Hold on, guys. Let me show you guys what am I doing. Okay, look how this changes stuff. My sensitivity is way too high. There. Makes it look much better. And then we're going to hit apply. We're going to hit OK. And then we're going to go ahead and OK here. I'm going to make sure my blue light is off and all that stuff. There we go. There we go. Okay. I guess we're good. I guess we're good. It's just too blue lighting. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get my Visual Studio Code up here. And then decrease the size. And I was reading my instruction, the questionnaire until the bark. Yo, hiding pixel, appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, so we were reading here, right? Okay, so class is also a decorator, making sure everything is going good here. Nice. Normally, a method inside a class receives the instance as its first argument, class dog. We define bark with self as a instance. Self is the specific dog object. Rex equals dog. Rex.bark, self equals Rex. Okay. Class method changes that instead of receiving the instance, it receives the class itself. Class dog at class method define bark and then CLS. CLS equals to the dog class itself, not a specific dog. Okay. Why does Pydantic need this? When Pydantic runs your validator, no object exists yet. The data is still running. The data is still being validated. The instance hasn't been created, so Pydantic can't pass self because there is no object to pass self. Instead, it passes CLS, the class itself. That's why class method. Oh, yeah. I think it makes sense because when I am using my Pydantic, I don't really go with defined under init. All that stuff comes inside of my base model, and I guess we use class methods to access the entire class's methods rather than just their instances. Okay. Instead, it passes self. Okay, class methods are required in Pydantic v2 validators. Summary, decorators field. Now, one more question. Does the at field underscore validator not over okay, so does the field validator decorator not get overridden by the class method question mark? Because I thought the function that goes under a decorator only gets wrapped in the decorator that is right above it. Oh god, guys, how hard does that get to phrase? And this is the LCD. There we go. I guess we're thinking, and I think I've been using Max like for a long time now. I still didn't run into my chat limit. I wonder why. Excellent question. Generally good thinking, your instincts, blah blah blah. Decorators stack bottom to top. Where you stack decorators, they won't override each other. They wrap in order, bottom first, then upwards. Class method applied first. This is exactly equivalent to writing no spaces equals to field validator, and then class method, no spaces. Step by step. Class method, no spaces, runs first, wraps the function so it receives CLS. Field validator, agent name, result. Runs second task, that class method object, and registers it with Pydantic. Each decorator wraps the result of everything below it, not just raw functions. So why both? Decorator class method, its job makes the function receive CLS instead of self. Field validator registers the already class method function with Pydantic. I see. Go ahead and just grab my chat up here in the other window. There we go. And oh god, I want to fix my webcam. I should actually, after the stream, I'm gonna go ahead and add a auto configuration stuff that automatically adjusts my lighting. This is getting so tedious. Okay, they have different jobs. Neither one overrides the other. Wraps older functions. I see. Now to fix our error. When I go with my API key error, rather than checking if sk in value, I'm gonna check if not, my value dot starts with. If my value does not start with this, I'm gonna go ahead and erase the value error. For my no spaces, I want to lowercase everything as well. Validation error name Alice, yada yada. Value must not contain spaces. Must start with sk. Okay. And then we're gonna go with Control A, Control C, copy that, grab that. Yo, hiding pixel, appreciate you joining the stream. Paste this and say done. There we go, and then I'm gonna go ahead and send it. And guys, on the first, my college starts from this Monday. It's not like I don't like my college or anything. It's just gonna be so tedious now because when I'm at home, usually I can do everything that I want. But I guess this is just me throwing a tantrum, waiting for for Claude to really be done thinking. That's a full pass. Clean, correct, complete. Every single thing is right. Value. Okay. Progress check. Fields, default strings. Question 2, question 3. Question 4 next. Same difficulty as question 3, but a different real world scenario. I guess we're ready. And I think I got it. As long as I remember the functions or the methods that goes with these strings, I think I can get it done. Question 4, no new concepts, you have everything you needed. Task, you're configuring an AI model development system, write a model from scratch that validates and cleans the configuration before it goes anywhere near a live system. Requirements, we import base model, we import fields, we import field validator, and we import our validation header. Create a class model config with these fields, model name of a string data type, temperature of a float data type, and default value of 1, tokens of a integer data type with a default value of 1000, endpoint underscore URL, no constraints needed. Write a field validator for model name that strips leading and trailing white space from the value, returns it lowercase, writes a field validator for endpoint URL that rejects the value if it does not start with https :// raises value error, endpoint must use https, returns the value, instantiate 3 objects, 1 valid config, provides only model underscore name and endpoint underscore URL. Let both defaults kick in, print. The dot model underscore dumps is method. 1 that triggers a validation error for temperature being too high. 1 that triggers a validation error for endpoint URL that does not start with HTTPS. Catch and print. Okie dokie. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my properties, configure video. My god, guys, this is so tedious. There. Oh, that looks so much better. I'm finally not under a blue haze. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and refresh Claude in the other window just so I can use the question as a reference. And now I'm gonna go with Control A and let's delete everything. To begin with, from my Pydantic, I want to go ahead and import, let's say, my base model, my fields, base model field, field underscore validator, and what else? Validation header. Okay, and the next up, we're gonna go ahead and create a class called something like model config. Okay, so we're gonna go with model config with which inherits from my base model that consists of my dungeon and constructors. I will not be needing it. However, I will be needing a model name of a string data type, which is going to be equal to a field that has a minimum of 2 characters and a maximum of 40 characters. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to 2, less than or equal to 40. Okay, and then we're going to be having a temperature of a float data type, which is going to be equal to a field where I'm going to go ahead and have a minimum of 0, a maximum of 20, and a default of 1. Greater than or equal to 0.0, maximum of 2, less than or equal to 2.0, and a default of 1.0. And then we're going to be needing a max underscore tokens is field as well, which is going to be of the integer data type. that is going to be constrained using a field where my minimum of tokens can be 1, less than, greater than or equal to 1. Maximum tokens can be 4096. Why is that so precise? Less than or equal to 4096. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and I have a default of 1000. Okay, and then we're gonna be having an endpoint underscore URL, which is gonna be of a string data type with no fields to it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add a field validator for a custom field for my name, my model name. Let's go with something like @field underscore validator. I want to validate my model underscore name. And then we're going to go ahead and add something like @class method. This is compulsory when it comes to Pydantic because we don't have a dunder init itself, because base model does consist of the dunder init. So the class method gives us access to our actual class's instance as opposed to the self. Not our instance, our actual class, not the instance. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and define an endpoint URL function that rejects the value if it does not start with HTTPS. Does not start with HTTPS. Okay, that requires CLS, my actual class as a parameter, and value as a parameter. Why in the world did I add a colon here? There. Now inside my method, I'm gonna go ahead and rejects value if it does not start with HTTPS. I'm gonna check if not my value dot starts with HTTPS ://. Then I'm gonna go ahead and raise a value error that is gonna go ahead and say endpoint must use HTTPS. Okay, returns the value passed. So we're gonna go ahead and return value. And then I'm gonna go ahead and let's say validate. Hold on a damn minute, guys. This is gonna be my endpoint URL. I read the wrong instructions. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and validate our model name. I'm gonna go with field validator. That is gonna have model underscore name, and then I'm gonna go with @class method. Now we're gonna go ahead and define our model name: strips, leading, and trailing white space. Okay, strips and lower cases. Okay, so my this function is going to be requiring my class as a parameter and a value as a parameter as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and check something. If space in value, then I want to go with something like value.strip. I want to go ahead and strip spaces. And then returns it lowercase. I'm going to return value.lower. There we go. Okay, and then once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and instantiate 3 objects. So I'm going to go ahead and instantiate my first object, which is going to be model1. That is going to be equal to my model config. And then we're going to go ahead and add a few parameters. I require, okay, so provide only model name and endpoint URL. Let bold default kicks in. I'm going to go with model name. That is going to be equal to K1B5. And then we're going to go with endpoint URL. Okay, which is going to be something like https ://www.vivuniverse.com. Guys, does https and www go together? Highly doubted. https ://vivuniverse.com. And then we're gonna go ahead and let's say print my model1 dot the model underscore dumps function. And then we're gonna go ahead and try to create a model2, okay, which is gonna go ahead and be equal to my model config, which is going to be requiring which is going to trigger a validation error for the temperature being too high, but I will still be needing a model underscore name that is going to be equal to GHBC4. And then we're going GHC4. No, G4C5. C6. Nice model name. And then we're going to be adding an endpoint underscore URL that is going to be equal to https://bivuniverse.com. And then we're going to go ahead and accept a temperature as well. I'm going to add a temperature too. Let's go with something like temperature. I spelled it wrong, didn't I? Let's just copy this temperature. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and paste my temperature here. Now my temperature is going to be too high, which is going to be 3.0. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and let's say accept validation error as ERR. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and print accept validation as ERR, where I want to go ahead and print my ERR. And then I'm going to go ahead and try I'm going to finally try to instantiate my model 3 that is going to be equal to a model config class, which is going to be having again a model name that is going to be equal to A2B5. And then I'm going to go ahead and add something like an endpoint underscore URL, which is going to be equal to something but not HTTPS. I'm going to go with vivuniverse.com. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and leave the temperature to be default. However, I will be accepting a validation error as ERR. And then I'm going to go ahead and print my ERR. Okay, and then let's hit Control. Let's Control Alt N. We get neither one. Type error not supported between instance and oh, my bad. My bad, guys. Min underscore length. That is going to be max underscore length. Okay, so we get our model name, perfect. And then we get HTTPS, validation error, input should be less than or equal to 2, where my input was 3. And then we have another value error, endpoint must use HTTPS because I just printed the universe. Perfect. All right, guys, I think I see how this works. Okay, let us go ahead and paste this and say done. And also, how many topics does Pydantic have that I need to cover, question mark, and then we send it. Okay, let's see. I guess it's still thinking. And I still didn't reach my limit with the max. How long does max burn out, or how long does it take for it to burn out? Speaking of which, oh wow, it does take a long time to think. So close, one bug hidden in there. Everything is perfect, but your model name validator has a sneaky mistake. Bug, strip result is being thrown. What you wrote, 2 problems. If space and value string are immutable, strip returns a new string. Oh. Okay, what you should do is value.strip.lower. Okay. Two problems in one line. Strip doesn't modify the string in place. It returns a new string. You have to capture it. If the if check is unnecessary, strip should always run. Okay. All right, let's fix that real quick. The if statement is unnecessary. We're gonna go with something like value.strip.lower. So we're first gonna strip it and then lowercase it. Hey Chio, how you doing? Kishin, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, and then let's go ahead and grab this up here. Your question, how many more Pydantic topics are left? I'm gonna try this first. Okay, perfect. Now let's see how many topics are left. Cover NLP and RAG. I will be actually covering RAG. I do have a RAGs topic in my roadmap, but that is going to be coming like in the further phases and all that stuff. You've covered field validator. After Pydantic part 2 wraps up, you move on to virtual environments. Almost locked in. One more question after this fix. Oh wow. Wait, so is that pretty much it for Pydantic? Here. And oh wow, I thought that Pydantic had much more topics. Never mind. Okay, and then let's go ahead and send it real quick. Okay, let's see. Okay, I see what max means. There's a lot of thinking when it comes with max. And it just started thinking, by the way. Okay. I guess while it's thinking, I can go ahead and see different things. Can think more for complex tasks. Finally. Full pass, clean code done. Okay, 0 lines, value.strip.lower, chain perfectly. What is it used for? What is Pydantic used for? Basically, Pydantic is for like field validations. For example, if my user actually enters an input or something, or if my API has an input, I want to catch a few errors, and I want to also add a concurrency, which basically means, let's say that if I have a quantity, I don't want the quantity to exceed a certain level, or let's say bio, for example. When my user tries to add a bio, I want to have a minimum of 0 characters in the bio, which means he doesn't have anything in his bio, and a maximum of 1050 or like 150. So it can exceed that number. Not just that, there are a bunch of things where we can custom validate stuff as well. But it's basically just for validation. In the other hand, type hinting is just for us to be able to see our code much better. For example, I specify my model to be a string, I specify my temperature to be floats, and all that stuff. That said, let's move on. Progress check. And yeah, Pydantic is actually very learnable to focus topics, and you're dangerous with it. That's the beauty of it. One more question left. Hardest one yet. From PUBG livestream recommendations to coding livestream, what has my YouTube fed me? Guys, I think this is the premium YouTube side. You guys should join the programming side. Only if you guys are interested in it, that is. I would love to help every last one of you guys if you guys really do want to join programming or start programming. That's the hardest one yet. This is where I throw everything at you at once. Field constraints pulls multiple field underscore validators. Okay, let's go with ready. I'm ready for the question. Okay, let's see. I think we're gonna wrap up with Pydantic this stream. I really thought that it's gonna take. I really thought it's gonna be requiring me to like have 2 or more streams for this. I think 1 is good. Okay, I guess it's still thinking. Let's get cozy, guys. You know what? At times I think that I should just change this back to high, but then it gives really nice answers at max. Question 5, final boss, no new concepts, everything you've learned in one model. This is your graduation. Question for Pydantic part 2. Task, you're building an AI pipeline job submission system. Every job that enters the pipeline must be validated and cleaned before it runs. Write the full model from scratch. Requirements. We import our base model, we import a field, we import a field validator, and we import a validation header. We create a class called pipeline job. with these fields: job underscore name of a string data type, priority of an integer data type, and a default of 5. Timeout seconds of another integer data type with a default of 300. Here's the thing, is this 300 seconds or 300 milliseconds? And then callback underscore URL, we'll add our custom validation. We write a field validation for job name that raises value error if my job does not start with a number. We need a field validation for callback URL if it's missing https : we instantiate 3 objects and all that basic stuff. To check if the first character is digit, we use the is digit. Okay, I'm gonna grab. Already mic testing. Guys, my PC crashed again. What the hell? Okay, let me just go back to my webcam and then I'm gonna go to my properties, configuration. They're gonna fix, whoa. I messed something up, didn't I? Not really, I just made it look a little bad. What up, guys? Let me just go ahead and get this in one side of my window, right here. Oh god, and this is so bright. Hold on. I'm gonna go to my configure video. Whoops, got the whole thing. Where in the world is my configure video? Am I stuck? Hold on, guys. Why did it have to crash now from all times? And I can't even. Why can't I click my configure video? Nothing pops up. I guess it's fine. I guess you guys have got to. You got to see like a really, really dark screen out here. I mean, a really, really bright screen out here. And it's so tedious for it to crash. I always forget. It kind of ruins the momentum, if I'm being honest, whenever the stream crashes. Wait, it did pop up, right? Guys, we got our configuration. Why did I open my Visual Studio? Okay, let's open Visual Studio Code. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab our OBS back. I see the magic now. I'm gonna go back to my main camera. And then we're gonna go back here. Watch this. I decrease my gain, it fixes my brightness all of a sudden, and then I decrease some white light balance. It makes my screen a bit blue. Not too blue, just a tad bit blue, just so it looks natural. This is how I make my my horrible lighting look nice. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and hit OK, and then let's go ahead and hit OK. The hell? Guys, is something bugging? I can't cancel squat. That's fine. I'll just leave it here. Now we go back to our gameplay screen. I'm going to get the instructions in the other window, just like usual, and let's work on it. Okay, let's go. So firstly, from my Pydantic, I'm going to go ahead and import, let's say, my base model. And then I want to import my field as well, and also field underscore validator. And lastly, my validation header. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a class called pipeline job. Okay, with a few fields in it. But it is going to be inheriting from my base model. One of my field is going to be called job underscore name. Okay, which is going to be of a string data type. That is going to be constrained by a field of a minimum length of 3 characters and a maximum length of, let's say, 40 characters. And then we're going to go ahead and have a priority. There we go, of an integer data type. Okay, which is going to be having a field of minimum 1. Let's go with a field of less than or greater than or equal to 1. Okay, and I gotta be maximum 10, so less than or equal to 10. And I'm going to be having a default value as well of 5. And then we're going to have a timeout underscore seconds, which is going to be of another integer data type, which will be constrained by a field of minimum 30 and maximum 3,600 seconds. No one specified seconds. I'm going to take that as greater than or equal to 30. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that as a freaking milliseconds. And then let's go with less than or equal to 3600. And I'm gonna have a default value of, by God, I hate this stuff. Keeps popping up, 300. Okay, and then we're gonna have a callback URL. Let's go with something like callback underscore URL. That is gonna be of another string data type, which is gonna be having no field or constraints because we're gonna add our custom validation. Now I'm gonna go with at fields underscore validator, and then we're gonna go with something like at class method. Okay, and then let's go ahead and define. For our thing, firstly, I want to add a field validation for my job. So I'm going to go with something like job name. Okay, and of course, my PC just crashed. I'm going to have a bunch of bugs. I'm not bugs, a bunch of ads popping up. And then next up, we're going to go. The reason I actually do get ads is because with our motherboard, sometimes in our PC, for example, our MSI's motherboard, we get a bunch of bundles packed inside of our motherboard. And that's what actually pops the ad. Okay, let's see. So we have a field validator that checks for these three things. Strips leading and trailing white spaces. Raises value error. Job must not start with a number. Okay, so let's go with something like strip and check. Actually, strip and validate. Okay, strip and check first digit, which is going to be having CLS as a parameter, my entire class, and the second is going to be a value. For my class, I'm gonna firstly, let's see, it seems to do three things. First character returns all values lowercase. I see. Okay, so we're gonna add an if statement. I'm gonna check something. I'm gonna check if my value, if not, starts with a number. Must not start with a number. If value dot starts with is dot okay, value starts with value. I don't know if that made any sense, but I think we'll see. If value starts with, it starts with, right? So I can just go with value dot is digit. Okay, so value dot is digit. So if value starts with a digit, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. We're gonna raise a value error. So I'm gonna go ahead and raise a value error. That is gonna say something like a job name must not start with a number. Must not start with a number. If the character is a digit, if the first character is a digit, and then I'm going to go ahead and return my value. I'm going to strip my value, and then I'm going to lowercase my value. Okay, that's nice. Next up, once we're done with our job name, we're going to add a field validation for our callback URL as well. So I'm going to go with at field underscore validator. Okay, this is going to be for my callback URL. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and add something like an add class method, which gives me access to my entire class because I don't really have it in it. Can you explain what are you doing here? I'm new. Actually, I did start a new series called AI Engineering for 365 days, where my goal by the end of this series will be to make an agentic AI, which could either be me training an AI model from scratch or actually using LLMs to get the job done. That said, I have a detailed roadmap that goes over all the concepts required in order to, like, let's say, make an agentic AI by the end of the 365-day series. And I'm basically following those. I'm currently in phase one, which is advanced Python, where I did work with generators. I forgot what all did I work with. Hold on, guys. Let me show you guys a roadmap. I remember the topics. I forgot the concept names. What the hell? Hold on, guys. There we go. Okay, so I'm currently at phase one, where I worked with decorators, generators, and context managers. I worked with async IO and async/await. I worked with typins, and I'm currently working with Pydantic for data validation. Later on, I'm gonna go ahead and work with virtual environments and dependency management, hopefully next stream. And then all the other basic stuff. We're going to go with development tools, blah blah blah. And then at the end of every phase, we have a bunch of projects to work on. Then later we go with phase two. Wow, where's phase two? I just see phase. There we go. Phase two is going to be math and machine learning. Phase three is going to be deep learning, blah blah blah. Okay, that's cool. And if you guys do want access to my roadmap and or want to join me in this series as well, make sure to join the Discord server and either go to the Coding Helpers chat or the Pythons chat and mention my name there at BibUniverse and ask me for the roadmap. I will be personally DMing you guys the roadmap. You guys can get access to my Discord server through the link in the description, through my bio, or by typing !Discord on chat, all lowercase, no spaces. Just like that. Was that a shameless plug? Maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and define another method called callback must use URL. Not. Okay, let's go with URL not used, which requires CLS as a parameter, that is my class, and let's say value as a parameter. Now, inside my function, I'm firstly going to go ahead and check if my value, so I'm going to go with if value, or if not, value dot starts with. If my value does not start with, let's say, https://, then I'm going to go ahead and raise a value error. Okay, where my value error is going to go ahead and say something like callback URL must use HTTPS. Okay, perfect. And then it returns the value. Let's go ahead and return my value. I'm going to go ahead and remove this discard as well from here. There we go. Okay, and then next up, let's see. We're going to instantiate 3 objects. So I'm going to go ahead and create an instance for, I don't know, my job 1, which is going to be equal to my pipeline job that requires a bunch of parameters. Passes job with extra spaces and validate callback underscore URL. No priority or time, let both default handle it. And a valid callback underscore URL. So we're going to go with job name, analysis job, analysis job. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add another parameter. Wait, this is going to be job name, right? Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add another one, which is going to be called something like callback URL, which is going to be equal to https:// BibUniverse.com. And then we're going to go ahead and print my job 1 and use the dot model underscore dumpsys method, which converts my Pydantic object to a dictionary, because usually data validations usually work with dictionaries, or like Crew AI, Fast API, and LangChain, they all work more with dictionaries as opposed to Pydantic objects. That said, I'm going to go ahead and create a second job, job 2. But this is going to be wrapped inside of an exception block because I'm going to run into an error here. Let's go with pipeline job. That is going to have a validation header for a job name, starts with a digit. Let's go with job underscore name is going to be equal to 01 Sam. There. And then we're going to go ahead and let's say add a callback URL, which is going to be something like https colon / that is supposed to be in quotes, https colon / div universe.com. Okay, and then we're just gonna go ahead and accept something. I'm gonna go ahead and accept a validation header as ERR. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and print my ERR. Okay, and then let's try one more block. So I'm gonna go with something like try job 3, that is going to be equal to my pipeline job, where I'm going to go ahead and trigger my callback URL error. So I'm going to add a job underscore name that is going to be equal to OpenAI, I guess. I don't really know my job names, guys. Let's go with callback URL that is going to be equal to https colon / div universe.com. You know what? You know what? You know what? Anthropic, which is the clouds AI, and then this is going to be Google AI. Yeah, just Google. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and accept a validation as header. Accept validation header as ERR, and then we're just going to go ahead and print our ERR. Control S, Control Alt N. Okay, line 25 has an error. I had a small little mistake. Validation, Pydantic. Okay, I'm positively positive that everything is correct here. Hold on a damn minute, guys. Anthropic, callback, model.dump, and then we have error. 25, pipeline job. We have our base model that requires these parameters of callback, this or that. We have a default, we have another default. We have job name, and then we have callback URL. Yo, hi doing, Prithidi, is that your pronunciation name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Alright, we're trying this again. Okay, so job 1. So Anthropic, callback URL, https colon / 263 validation instance self line 13 strip and check. Oh, okay, wait. I may add something that I want to strip. I want to strip any trailing white lines. What are you doing right now? I'm working with Pydantic. This is the final topic, which is apparently supposed to be harder than the first two topics. Although I think I got it. Maybe I added a literal URL here. .com. No. HTTPS / with universe. Okay, what is wrong here? Then we have Google. Then we have a callback underscore URL. We have a CLS. Where am I running into an error? I did. Let's hit Control S, Control Alt N again. Okay, so type in line 25 module pipeline job name callback URL. Attribute error. String object has no attribute as digit. Did you mean as digit? Yeah, I meant as digit. Traceback error. Type error starts with first argument must be a string or a tuple, not a boolean. Yeah, that's correct. Can be a boolean if value dot starts with dot is digit. Starts with takes at least one positional argument. Okay, Boolean object has no attribute as digit. If it starts with value, oh god. How do I add the validation check here? Okay, this is not a Pydantic error, this is a syntactical error. Let's paste it and say, since I had one question, how do I check if the first character is a digit question mark, because starts with takes digits as parameters. Okay, takes digits as parameters or chars as parameter. Okay, let's see. Okay, I guess Claude is thinking. I still didn't run out of my time limit. Like, I've been using Max for like now 2 hours now, or more than 2 hours. Good effort, but three things in there. Bug one, your question, how to check if a specific string. That's broken if value at index of 0 is digit. Ooh, simple no direct, wrong. Okay, wrong inside the validator if value dot starts with. What you wrote checking before stripping? Strip happens after raise value error and then dot lower. Correct order, value equals to value dot strip. Checked analysis job. Wrong third testing case. What you wrote, this URL is valid, no error will trigger. So job 3 should be HTTPS, and then we have OpenAI, and then we have a callback. No HTTPS. No HTTPS. Wait, we had the same exact thing, right? This is OpenAI callback. Okay. Oh yeah, we needed to add we needed to freaking remove the HTTPS. I forgot all about that stuff. Okay, so basically what we do here is that when stripping, firstly we're gonna have our value. We're just gonna lowercase our value. We're not gonna strip it. And then rather than having that if statement, I'm just gonna go with something like if my value at index of 0 dot is a digit, if my value at index of 0 is digit, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go with value equals to value dot strip. We're gonna strip our value first. Now for it, control S, control Alt N. Job name, Anthropic, priority 5, timeout seconds, yada yada. And then value error, job name must not start with a number. And then value error, callback URL must use HTTPS. I see. And there we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab Claude here now again. Let's paste it and say done. I guess we're done. Okay, great. I should have changed the priority to 0 because we're done. Not priority, the what's it called? The effort level to 0. I mean to lower. Pydantic part 2 completed. You passed the final boss. One tiny typo won't break the code still runs. Pydantic part 2 full completion. Notes incoming. Okay, so we have field validation. We import Pydantic, default values. Constraints, okay. Then we have products, train constraints, okay. Key rule. And then we have field validators, we have base structures, we have golden rules, we have all that basic stuff, transform values, useful method validators, that stuff, this stuff, we have all that stuff. Decorators, all those things. Where is used in AI? Next time we move on to virtual environments. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this real quick. In case you guys might think why I wanna add it to my notes, because I usually go over the notes if I sometimes don't understand a concept. Keyword there is usually, not every time. Let's hit Control S. So everything is saved, and then we go back here, Control S. Let's close that up. Now let's grab Claude back up here. Let's exit that. Pydantic part to complete. Save this in @tier.md file. Next up, virtual environment and dependency management. Let me say, can I get a transfer prompt, since I will be working on that in a different chat to save tokens. Okay, and I guess while Claude is doing that, I'm going to go ahead and grab my OBS up here and move on to my main camera. Oh god, and what is wrong with the webcam? Hold on. Let me go to configure video. Let me configure this stuff real quick. I'm gonna decrease my gain just a tad bit. There we go, much better. Okay, alrighty guys, so basically that was pretty much it for the stream. I am done with Pydantic and type hinting this stream. Next stream, I will be working with, hold on. What was I working with? There we go. Next stream, I will be working with virtual environments and dependency managements. Therefore, I mean, that said, if you guys did enjoy this stream, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe with notifications turned on, and also share this video / channel because like helps with my algorithm, trying to make you smile, subscribe and make a cheer on top. That's it. I will start streaming on Twitch and Kick again once I get a better graphics card, which is going to be arriving on June 9th. And I will start streaming on Instagram and TikTok as well if I did meet the followers requirement. Therefore, if you guys do enjoy my content and haven't followed me there, make sure to follow me there. The link is going to be in the description. The link is going to be in the bio. You guys can get access to my socials in general by typing exclamation and the socials is name, all lowercase, no space. If the socials does exist, a link is going to pop up within 4 to 5 seconds or 3 to 4 seconds depending on your internet and the Nightbots servers. Well, I'm thinking what else was I going to say next. And yeah, if you guys do want to join me for my AI engineering for 365 days series, but don't really have my roadmap, or you guys do want my roadmap for the agentic AI, make sure to join the Discord server and either go to the Coding Helps Us chat or the Python chat, mention my name there at VivUniverse and ask me for the roadmap. I will be personally DMing it to you guys. You guys can get access to my Discord server, again, through the link in the description, through my bio, or by typing exclamation Discord on chat, all lowercase and no spaces. The link is going to pop up within 4 to 5 seconds. That's it. We're going to be working with virtual environments and dependency management next stream. So I'll catch you guys next time for a video. Peace. Guys, that was one of the blandest intros that I've done. Hello, yo, hi, Pony. Appreciate you joining the stream. But the stream is ending. You can join the Discord server where I usually do mention you guys every single time I start streaming. Now let's end the stream.